What's going on, guys? It is T90 Official, and welcome to another Age of Empires 2 classic game. This game was played 5 years ago between 6 of the best Chinese players in the world. I will start right off by pausing this so I can talk about what you're about to see, because this is nuts. This map is called Border Dispute, and it got its name from the fact that they're all sharing borders and they're all sharing resources. So there's a dozen boars in the center. There's deer in between the players. There's sheep in between the players. It is hectic. Let me introduce the teams and talk a little bit about the civs before we actually begin the cast. Normal games have a dark gauge where there's not a lot going on, but here there is quite a bit going on. I should mention, because people were probably confused, Tim is here in the red. 2 people co-opted with him at the time because back in the day they didn't have spectators, so the only way to watch was to actually play the game with somebody on the same point of view. So that's why our overlay, that's why our scores are going to show 3 people, but in reality Tim was the one controlling this. So we'll start off with Tim's team. In the yellow we have Mr. Yo. Mr. Yo is playing as the Koreans. He is the flank, so as you can see, very close to the enemy. The pocket is Tim, and Tim's playing as the Turks. And then in the blue we have Paladin. Paladin's playing as the Goths. All 3 of these guys are very well known in China, and they still play today. In the green we have Abu. This is of course on the other team. He is playing as the Persians. His pocket is Kurt and Miri playing as the Aztecs, and then his flank is Mar. Mar is playing as the Japanese. So they did random civs, and I believe at the time they did a light random map pack, so they didn't even know what map they were going to get from the pack. And they will find out soon enough. Now, one small thing before the game actually begins. Abu stopped playing about a year ago, but in his prime, he won the Nations Cup with China back in 2015, I believe it was. He was one of the best Chinese players. I don't know much about his 2 allies, but at least 4 players here are legends of Chinese Age of Empires 2. So let the game begin! Start fighting over those boars, start fighting over the sheep, and as I said, I don't think players knew what map they were getting themselves into here, so Abu almost lost his scout to Paladin's TC. And I believe, I can't read Chinese, but Curtin just said TC and then some other characters I can't recognize, so they might be communicating that, yeah, the TCs are close together. Curtin ended up losing his scout. I'm not even going to focus on all the specifics of the beginning here because it is crazy. It's important to bring in as many boars as possible. Players are losing scouts. Players might even lose villagers here. But eventually, if you want to get gold and you want to get stone, it is luckily behind you in a ring. So, as you can see for the northern team, Mar can take this stone. You can take this gold, stone, wood. Same thing then for purple. Same thing for green. And then, of course, a Paladin and his team can, push out towards the outer edge of the map and access resources. So because players are so close together, and especially because they have a lot of food, faster feudal times would be very important here. And I think that one of the strongest things you could do is maybe go up to feudal fast and go for towers. Now, I should clarify, I casted this on my Twitch stream a few days ago actually, and I was planning on just uploading that cast, but the reason I'm recasting this is because the game is just too perfect to be on a... Oh my goodness, that villager goes down. The game is too perfect to have like all the distractions from Twitch. I think that this needed a dedicated cast, so I'm back casting it again. So since I do know what's happening, let me just talk about the civs briefly. Goths, Turks, and Koreans for the southern team. Koreans, they have their strong towers, so we could see that from Yo on this right-hand side. Tim, he is Turks. Turks, they'll struggle without gold, so luckily he has that gold to the south. Maybe he can add in the gunpowder later on in the game, and any castle drops would be strong for him because he could make his Janissary, which is his unique unit. Goths, well, Goths will be awkward, I think, for Paladin on the left-hand side. Goths are a strong civ, but only after you get a lot of eco rolling, and that will obviously be difficult as everyone's so close together. Then let me just shift here to show the placements. On the left, we have Persians for Abu. Persians, again, they do have strong eco, but their weapons only show up in Castle Age or Imperial Age. Not much in Feudal they can do. Aztecs, this is a civ that can be quite strong. Maybe Curtin will go for, you know, Castle Age into crossbows, and then we have Japanese on the right. Japanese are very flexible for Teal because they save the wood on the lumber camps and the mining camps. He could go archers or infantry. We shall see, but I happen to know what we're about to see, so I'm going to just talk about it ahead of time, because this you will never see again, especially at this level. So you guys, if you've been watching my channel for a long time, you've probably watched the Persian Douche videos I have. I uploaded one a month or two ago, which was a team douche. All 4 players douched, and then there's one called the Viper versus the Persian Douche, and there's quite a few. But in case you need the refresher, I'll give it to you now. Persian town centers have 4,800 HP on them. That is double the HP of any other town center. So the Persian Douche name comes from the fact it's a douchey strategy. And what it is you delete your TC in Dark Age, and then you bank up the resources to rebuild another one, and then you build it next to your opponent. And normally that takes you out of the game, and that takes one opponent out of the game. Now this is special because what we are about to see will not take out one person, it will disrupt 3 people on the enemy team. This is perhaps the only map that you could Persian Douche and range 3 other people. M. Abu, as I said, a legend of China, ransomed his civilization, they ransomed the map, and you can tell he's thinking about it now. He's looking at this area, and he thinks that's prime real estate. Now, he has 410 wood, 420 now, and he has the starting 200 stone, so he could easily rebuild a town center here. And here he comes. So he has to delete his TC and rebuild another one, and then I'll switch over to the southern team's point of view. Paladin's collecting a boar out here, and there's the signals, and he's saying, what the hell is this? M. Abu has no loom, so he will need to be careful. He loses 1 vill, he repositions, and he will go right back to building this TC. So this TC, when it goes up, will be garrisoned, and M. Abu will just start a TC war with any of the 3 players he would like to choose from. So the best thing about the Persian Douche strategy is it makes your opponent panic. But we're looking at 3 of the best Chinese players ever against him. So far, I'd say that Paladin is panicking a bit. Now what you could do is you could collect wood and then just rebuild your town center. Like if you built one here, that'd be fine. But he doesn't have the wood at the moment. He only has 40 wood. He was not expecting this. So he begins the TC war with M. Abu. And as does Tim. So if you can do the quick maths, guys, that's 21 idols for the enemy team just because this TC has been here. So M. Abu is buying his teammates time to do something, and well, they need a little bit more time because Mr. Yo, who might lose his town center to the arrows from M. Abu, Mr. Yo is going on a tower quest, and he's building his first tower here now. So Teal, he's not in Feudal Age yet himself. He's expecting to have to build towers, but he's starting to Vill fight, and yep, Yo doing the right thing, building 2 towers so Teal can't rush this down. This is going to be scrappy. So I'm going to speed this up slightly, because believe it or not, the game does not end here. Mr. Yo, he's in feudal building towers, but he has 50 wood, he has 3 lumberjacks. Eventually he won't even be able to afford to build towers due to the lack of wood, and he certainly cannot repair this town center and keep it up for very long. So Mr. Yo will lose this town center. Teal has killed one of Yo's villagers. He's going to take this tower down. He's defended all right so far. But this is just crazy. What we are seeing is crazy. In fact, I'm going to remove YouTube. You get to see how I do my thumbnails. I'm going to remove this just for a moment so I can use this as a screenshot. We have the douche, the triple douche. M. Abu, his TC is at 1600 HP. He has forced Tim and forced Paladin to idle half of their economy, and Yo lost his TC here, and Yo cannot afford to rebuild it. This is just insanity. And I bet you're thinking T90's clickbaiting with his words again. He says you'll never see this. When are you going to see this nonsense? Like, never. This is so rare. I'm so glad I found this game. It is unreal. So, you know, let's look at the players' resources. Unfortunately, I don't have the hotkeys to toggle between the players that I have nowadays because it's an older recorded game. But, you know, Tim, he has a decent food count considering he has so many vills idled here. And they're close to killing Abu's TC. But still, it's not anywhere near what he would need to click up to the next stage. Mr. Yo still has not built another town center. I'll add the overlay back so you can see the stats. And this is just madness. This is absolute madness. Meanwhile, Abu's allies, Teal, well, of course he had to deal with the tower rush, but he's defended well from that. Okay, there's another sneak tower from Yo he'll have to deal with. But still, Yo's not really pushing any longer. Purple, he hasn't been disrupted at all. Purple wisely built a defensive tower for his ally, because Abu, of course, needs the wood to repair. He's losing his TC now. But the question we have to ask ourselves is, was the distraction worth it? Was it worth it? It distracted Tim and distracted Yo for a long time. Yo is building a few towers here, of course, which means that Green will have to run. Was it worth it? Well, we will see. I love classic Age of Empires games. I love games that just shatter the current meta. And look at this. Abu is in the Dark Age. But he has 303 wood and 100 stone. He could build another town center in Dark Age. Now, he's run in here, perhaps thinking he could build a town center on the stone and the gold from Tim. I don't think that's a good decision for him. In fact, his allies here with archers as well, trying to assist. But yeah, this is going to end badly, so he has to run. And run he does. He loses a few villagers, Purple loses a few archers. And I have to say, great job from Tim to build those towers in the first place. He has 10 kills and 0 deaths, so he's reacted to this better than some of his allies have. Now, Teal comes forward with more towers, so Tim will lose farm space. He has to delete expensive farms. Remember, he was repairing his TC. He had an idle TC, so it's not like he has the wood to just add more farms all over again. I think he's sending quite a few vills to gold now, so he might... Turks collect gold faster, so maybe he will use the market to buy food. But Teal's getting map control here. Yo just built the town center on the right. He's only at 18 vills. He is one less than Green does. And Mr. Yo, he's not progressing any further. So the southern team has really struggled due to Abu's Persian Douche. But the longer this goes on, the more the southern team will stabilize because Abu, well, he's not douching anywhere now. He's not distracting anywhere. But obviously he's going for it again, right? He has 350 wood now. He relocated out here. And you know what? If he builds a TC here, he will not only kill Yo's TC, but what he could do is he could disrupt some of these resources. Or just deny them completely. Now, he does need to be safe, I guess, because Yo could build a tower. But look! Look at this! I keep saying Yo, I'm sorry, Paladin. I did that when I casted it on Twitch as well. He's committing to the TC, and Paladin... He started building the tower here, had to delete it, then restarted. I don't think this tower will be up in time to deny this. And Paladin has 80 wood. He cannot repair his town center. And even if he does, not for very long. And then he won't have the wood to rebuild one. So we had one player lose their TC and Mr. Yo on the right. On the left, we will soon have Paladin losing his TC. He'll try his hardest, but there's just no way. He's at 23 vills, tons of vital time. Yo, he's at 17 villagers on the right. So Yo has went down in population. And these are not scrub players. These are good players. And they've been thrown off by the strategy from Green. Teal, he's been building towers freely for his team. And Purple has been booming up freely and adding in archers for his team. So, as a team, the douching team is actually ahead right now, which is just completely mind-blowing to me. But yes, as expected, Paladin, almost said Yo again, loses his town center, and now he has one lumber camp. Look how efficient this is. This is a disaster. And he needs, not only does he need the wood to build a TC, he needs the stone to build a TC, so this will take him some time. Tim is building towers, but he has not clicked up to Castle Age yet. He's just defending, and I again believe he's purchasing resources he might need. Aram Abu, he probably feels lost now. He doesn't know what to do. There's no one to douche anymore. He needs to go to stone to build an additional TC, so I think he might start collecting resources after he kills these towers like a normal guy. Yeah, if you look at the top left, Tim is buying food, so, you know, for the southern team, you really need Tim to carry here, and yes, Tim is on his way to Castle Age. Let's check the players on the northern squad. Yeah, Curtin's about to do so as well. It's worth pointing out that Curtin didn't have to buy food because Curtin has had all of these farms. You look at Teal, and Teal, well, he's not very close to clicking up in all honesty, but they've done a great job hurting the flanks, so even if Teal is not click up, it's kind of just a 1v1 between the pockets, purple and red. Now back to Tim for a moment. Tim is still on stone, and I think he will build a castle in the next stage. If he builds a castle in the next stage, he'd clean up a lot of these towers, maybe build it here. And he could continue with castles throughout the game. That's a great way to get map control back. So we missed quite a lot. Yo was still building towers on Teal's wood lines. Yo got some good map coverage with these towers, but again, as a whole, the northern team has had a whole lot less idle time. Aram Abu, this is funny, Paladin sent one villager out to build towers, knowing that Abu is going to need to relocate at some point, and he needs wood, of course, to build new TCs, and that tower out of nowhere, but it does disrupt Aram Abu, but he can go to that lumber camp. Oh, or he could just rebuild the town center. So he has douched not once, not twice, but 3 times. He's killed 2 town centers so far. Will he kill a third? Well, no. No. Tim hits Castle Age, and Tim's going to build a castle, so this TC is actually just a waste for Aram Abu. You know, Teal's even hopping in the town center to help out, but TC will not keep Tim from getting to the next stage, and Tim is adding more town centers for economy, so it won't really disrupt him that much. They need to be careful because Janissaries in siege, very strong for Turks, and Tim obviously has the security at home. The only area he's vulnerable is on his woodline here, or on the side of his farms here. But he'll take out these towers, as I expected. And purple now in Castle Age, and he is sending crossbows around and behind this woodline. So, I don't know who Curtin Miri is. Obviously, he's a very strong player. He's done a lot right here. Hitting the right position immediately when he hits Castle Age. Strong stuff from him. Tim is scouting with 1 light cav back here. So he's looking, seeking Aram Abu for revenge. Aram Abu still has this TC garrisoned. I would have just left it and abandoned it, but I guess he wants to kill Tim's TC anyway. And that he will do, so Tim will be on, well, 1 town center for now and 2 in a second. But his food eco is disastrous. He's purchasing all of his food. On the other team, Teal is on his way to Castle Age, so there will be 2 strong players in Mar and Curtin Miri. They only had the time to get to their comfortable economy position because of their ally sacrificing himself. It's just insane. Normally a douche should never work, but on Border Dispute, with 3 pro players, it's actually working at the moment. If they can stop Tim from having success, if they can just hold Tim back, then they obviously win the game. You know, Paladin has rebuilt a TC in the south. Yo has, well, he has this TC, of course, but it's only 25 villagers for Yo, 21 for Paladin. their economies are just awful. Now, what we might see in this situation, we see it a lot at the pro level, is a sling of some kinds. Because if you're already down and out, you might as well send resources to your strong player. So maybe for the southern team, they can sling resources to Tim, get him to imp, and get him to push more with Janissaries. Teal's building a castle here. He wants to hold map control. This castle's not going to happen for him. So lots of stone being wasted, lots of precious villagers being wasted, and that's his advantage now, the extra villagers. Nice job from Tim. It's going to have to be him if his team wins the game. But regardless of the result of this game is already awesome because of what Abu did. Who, by the way, he's TC-less, and he'll have to rebuild one again. This time, I imagine, in a safe position. It would be funny if he shows up on Paladin again, but yeah, I somehow doubt it. So, great job from Yo and Tim to keep themselves alive here. Had this castle gone up, it would have been more trouble for Yo, but they denied it with the tower and some Janissaries. And now a second castle for Tim, and this is a pretty strong indicator that Tim's economy is a mess, because he's building a castle with 20 villagers, and he's building a second castle at 30 minutes, so he obviously is not bringing in a lot of food and gold. It's very lopsided as opposed to balanced. So Tim's coming to the left-hand side. Perhaps sees that Abu is farming next to his starting mill. Yeah, that's not going to work for you, man. So he'll go for some vill picks, and he'll likely get a few. Yeah, he kills her, and he'll probably kill her. Luckily, Abu is running. Purple's here to defend, though. And purple has crossbows and a mangonel. That would be enough. Janissaries have 8 range over the 7 range of the crossbows, but I think with the mangonel involved, he'll be just fine. Tim has ventured right into the new TC of green. How annoying has this guy been? He luckily builds a TC here, and Tim runs right into it. And speaking of running into things, Tim is running into a tower now. And if he runs past this tower, he'll run into another one, and then a TC. So, not the most effective raid from a guy who has been very dominant this game for his team. Still 26 kills for Tim, though. That is by far the most in this game. There we go. Top right of your screen, guys. Paladin is researching coinage. And with coinage, what coinage does is it reduces the tax when you sling or send someone resources on your team. So, that's what you normally see before someone does that. Paladin, there's not much going on for him here, obviously. He does have a lot of villagers on gold, and he'll probably send it to Tim, who is on his way to the Imperial Age. Now, let me see, did I miss some sling? Not really. You know, maybe Curtin sent stone to Abu so he could build a TC, but Tim, he clicked up naturally. It's the gold, though. He collected a lot more gold thus far, so he's been purchasing his food. Whereas Curtin, he has less gold, but he has brought in that food naturally. He's brought in over 2,000 more. Same with Teal. Back to the game. Tim has 2 castles, and when he hits the Imperial Age, he can, of course, build trebuchets from these castles. You hear the sound of the sling. Now, Yo is sending resources to Tim, too, so both Yo on the right and Paladin in the south are sending resources to Tim. It is all Tim right now for his team. But Curtin on the other team clicks up to the Imperial Age himself. His economy is more stable because he has the farms, so he can get the upgrades without having to purchase stuff. But how can he deal with the Turks? He's looping around now with crossbows once again. All the focus is going to be on Curtin and on Tim now. And Abu will just boom, I imagine. Same with the flanks for Tim. You know, Aztecs, if they get to Arbalest, can deal with the Janissaries quite well. However, we could see Tim mix in some bombard cannons, and bombard cannons can kill those Arbalests from range. So this will be tough. Tim retreats here. He sees the crossbows. He'll send over a mangonel, so I think he'll be just fine once again. 2 castles from Teal and a town center, so Teal's castle will kill Yo's TC. That's not the first time we've said that today. But I just imagine these castles getting trebbed down from Tim, assuming Tim can get the resources. Teal is sending resources. He sent stone to purple. So purple, he does not get bombard cannons. Probably wants a castle. He will build it right there, chat. I'm sorry. I'm so used to saying chat. I guess there's no chat because we're not on Twitch. But forgive me. Forgive me. Trebuchets, YouTube. Trebuchets. Still, though, Tim would have an advantage, right? Because he has 2 castles, and he can queue up a trebuchet in each castle. So, purple and teal just need to delay. They have better economy, they have a more complete team. They just need to stop the rot. Stop the push from Tim. Curtin could mix in Eagle Warriors, and with Eagle Warriors... Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God! That Magadell's coming in clutch for Tim. This is so good because he needs the wood. 2 shots, he kills all the crossbows. Wow. Anyway, purple, he could mix in Eagle Warriors to hit the economies of the weak slingers. Like Paladin and Yo, their economies will be exposed. That being said, Yo has done a fantastic job of walling up. So most of the pressure would have to funnel through Tim anyhow. Back to the center. Tim has 2 trebuchets. He's going for teal first. And that's because, unfortunately, he can't see the castle going up from purple. I think if he saw that, and the fact that purple was in the Imperial Age, he would go for this castle, but he doesn't know about it. He's probably feeling great. He's getting resources from 2 players. He has 2,000 gold. He's building a 3rd castle now, Tim. And there's not much that Teal can do to stop this, as Teal's only in Castle Age. But Teal is getting banking, so much like there's coinage in the Feudal Age, which reduces the tax on a sling, in the Castle Age, there's a tech called banking, which reduces the tax even more. So I guess Teal will sling it to purple, sling what he has to purple. And Curtin and Tim are going to duke it out here. Now, I should point out Mr. Air M. Abu, the MVP of this game, regardless of what happens. He's at 27 pop, and compare that to some of the people he douched, it's really not that bad. And he's on his way to Castle Age. So in his position, I imagine he just booms up and adds TCs. And hopes that his allies don't die so he can get in later on. But his work is done for now. Maybe he's just offering moral support in TeamSpeak or something. Which I don't think they had, but could have been the chat as well. Teal loses 2 castles. Golds and stones are here that he so desperately needs. But Tim's focus is now on purple, as purple has added trebs, and purple had the time to catch up in the treb count slightly. He has 2 trebs, and this is a new castle from Tim. He'll lose this unless he repairs. The one thing that's missing from Tim is a siege workshop to make bombard cannons. I mentioned that. I think bombard cannons would have been a fantastic addition because you could snipe the trebs, snipe the arbalests. But he doesn't have them. He has researched bombard tower though, so if he wants to continue to push, that would be a great way to do so. And maybe he'll start building them here because that's where the bills are going. Curtin received a lot of resources, and remember, he doesn't have to kill Tim right now, he just has to delay him, and he's doing just that. With the resources he received, he researched Elite Eagle Warrior, he's getting the upgrades on them now. He kills the trebs, and he's sending his trebuchets forward, so that already has kind of delayed Tim enough, I think. Tim has to address this now. A moment ago, it was purple needing to address Tim, but Tim lost his advantage, and now Tim has to shift to the defensive mode. Janissaries and hand cannons, that won't work versus arbalests, and honestly, versus the rams as well. They don't do too hot because the rams act as a meat shield. Non-stop production from both Tim and from purple, but Tim will lose his castle, so he has to produce out of archery ranges now. So he'll make hand cannons instead, but guys, I don't think it's enough. Plate mail armor on the way. That's the final defense upgrade for these Eagles, which are already doing enough. And as I said, this capped ram will contribute so much to this fight. Down goes the trebuchet for Tim. Down goes the towers soon enough, I imagine. I think Tim should have added bombard cannons. Or maybe they should have predicted the threat from Air M. Abu, who is booming up now, guys. He's on 2 TCs, 2 town centers. He's no stranger to town centers. He is a stranger to having 2 at once, but I don't know. I don't feel like doing the math right now. He's had well over 2 in this game, obviously. What does Tim do now? He'll lose his last castle. Okay, he adds a bombard cannon, but now he doesn't have the Janissary numbers to protect these units from eagles, and purple could send in the eagle warriors to snipe this. Tim's numbers are split because he knows he needs to protect Yo, who lost his town center again. He had to rebuild one here. So Tim just can't keep up, really. Paladin and Yo, they've done a great job to sling resources, but when you're in a slinging game and the person receiving full sling isn't pushing, that's normally a bad sign. Curtin has so many resources, and in come the Eagle Warriors. Unfortunately for Tim, the bombard cannon couldn't pass, and that bombard cannon cost him 225 wood and gold. I mean, I know the KD's not great for purple because he's sacrificing the eagles, but I think now it's completely fine for them. He has way more eco than Tim does. Teal is slinging with 106 villagers, so Curtin is living the dream right now. So many resources being sent to him. And now he's buying time for Aram Abu to boom, and eventually Aram Abu's economy will pay off. When purple had built a castle over on this left-hand side, and just disrupting Tim more and more. Everywhere you look, there's enemy units if you're Tim, and you have no allies to help you. The Arbalest, they'll snipe a bombard cannon here, I believe. They will. Now these, they're stacked. This happens with ranged units. That can hurt. Oh, and it does hurt. But I think the final nail in the coffin is coming, and that's Siege Ram. Paladin's getting to Castle Age, but Paladin, he can't contribute with anything to stop these Siege Rams. And Siege Rams, they don't die quickly to the hand cannons and Janissaries or the bombard cannons. And Tim, his only option here as Turks would be to mix in Hussars, but he doesn't have the time. He doesn't have the eco for it. Tim rings the town bell because purple is streaming eagles into his economy. Tim is down to 73 villagers now. As you can see, Siege Rams are so good in this situation. And it's got to be just a matter of time now. Tim's forward towers have been taken down. This bombard tower will be taken down. Teal recognizes he doesn't even need to help anymore, so he clicks up to the Imperial Age. Soon he will be mixing in the elite skirmishers with Imperial Age upgrades. And even Castle Age elite skirmishers would be more than enough here versus the hand cannons and Janissaries. Accompanied by these Siege Rams, accompanied by the Eagles, which will soon have full upgrades. Tim, Paladin, and Yo, some of the best Chinese players ever, and even today, they are going to die to this strategy. And I just can't get over how genius this strategy was. I have no way of confirming this, but I'm pretty sure, based off the players' reactions at the start, that this was just part of a map pack, and that they did random civs. And there's the resignations now. He thought of it randomly. This wasn't a tournament where he thought the strategy would work well, and he prepared ahead of time and practiced. They're just playing random games with random civs on a map pack. He gets Persians, and he thinks of doing that. And Aram Abu, I know he might not have gotten a lot of kills here. In fact, he only got 1. But the reason that his team wins this game is because of his strategy. I can only imagine being teamed with him. You know, imagine being... I'll speed it up a little bit. I'll wait till the game finishes. Imagine being purple or teal, and your flank says he's going to TC drop. At this level, you're probably thinking, no, don't do it. Don't do it, man. I want to win the game. Play standard. You know, go for towers and then boom and go for knights. That's what Persian should do. I don't know what their reaction was. Maybe we can get a translator in here to read the chat. But the strategy worked. And that's probably the only time you'll see that. There are some crazy things we see. Nowadays we do community games and people are losing monuments around 1 year. But that's happened more than once. There are crazy expert games we see with the Tyrants and Aftermath, SY, Vivi, the Fat Dragon, you know, and I think, wow, we'll never see that again. But a year later, we see something very similar, and we see something almost that's the exact same, I guess. That it just, you won't see this again. The only way this happens again is if someone watches this video and copies it. But it will not naturally happen again because all the stars need to align, and I can't get over it. I can't get over it. So let's look at the achievements. Curtin, it was all Curtin and Tim, really. He got more resources from his allies, and he was able to push that much more. He did a great job taking fights. I know that he had more time than Tim. I know that he had resources being sent in from Teal, but Curtin's army control was fantastic. There was only one instance where I said it was bad, and that was with his crossbows right before Imperial. Eco stats will interest you guys, I'm sure, so here you go. 6k more food for Curtin. 24k total wood, which is double what Tim had, and then the gold is just over what Tim had, which is pretty impressive considering Tim collects gold faster as Turks. So the resources for teal and for purple, that number was assisted by Mr. Air M. Abu. I'd like to think that Air M. Abu is going to come back to the game at some point. He stopped playing in 2017. It'd be great to see him to come back, and then all of a sudden he's swarmed by fanboys saying, "That TC drop was insane." He might not even remember. There's a timeline for you. And guys, that's the end of a crazy triple douche game. I will see you on the next video. I have a lot of YouTube only stuff planned for when I'm gone. I'll be gone away from streaming for the next 4 to 5 days. So when I'm gone, I decided to toss up some special content. For what it's worth, I'll be doing that more often as well. I know that there are many people who only watch my YouTube videos. Completely understandable. You don't want to stop by the stream for whatever reason that may be. I'm going to get back to doing one YouTube only video a week, maybe 2, whether that be classic games, community games, even expert games. Just, I'm going to make YouTube content better in the future so we can grow this channel even more. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, if you want to see more, make sure to leave a like on the video, and I'll see you next time.